Hey, it's Trey, and welcome to Midday with Trey, who's still drinking her coffee. So I'm just picking up where we left off. I've been working on this little composition book I got at Dollar General, and some of the pages are done, and then towards the back they're not. So I'm just going through trying to add people. So we're doing peoples right now. I don't know if I want to put her here or not. So if I do, I'll have to do a lot of cutting because around them fingers. Although I probably could cut around those fingers pretty well. Let's do it. So the way that I do this is my good old X-Acto knife. The sharper the better. This is one of the reasons why I like to work on a self-healing map, is so that I can just cut at any time like this and I don't have to worry about it. Even though, honestly, I just don't use my X-Acto knife as much as I used to. I used to, like, really get into, like, detail cutting with my X-Acto. This one is dull. Let me change this out real quick because I'm going to hurt myself if I don't. Look, guys, these X-Acto knives are so old. I bought these when I first got married to my first husband. Look, they're all rusted and everything else, and this is all I have left. They're still as sharp as everything, so I don't care if they're rusted. I'm not using them on people, and I'm definitely trying not to cut myself with them, so I'll be glad when I can buy a new box. Oh, that's so much better. There is just nothing like cutting with a new knife, let me tell you. Whether it be scissors or kitchen knife, I keep my knives sharp. So as you see, the way that I cut is I really do a combination of moving the knife itself and then moving the paper around. I find that if you can keep your knife down and try to pull towards you mainly, and then move the paper around so that you can always do that rather than trying to, like, move your arm around, just twist the paper and then just keep going in the same direction. And then that's a lot easier than like trying to like turn and this and pick it up, and you just get a much smoother cut. It's not a bad cut. So I had Nisa pick me up my favorite composition books, and her husband was asking her, what is she going to do with all these books? So Nisa was kind of like explaining it to him about, I use them for glue books and, whatever. And then he said, what does she do with them after she's done? Nisa's like, good question. What do you do with them after you're done? And I'm like, good question. I don't have a plan. I just make them. And then her husband was like, well, she should sell them. And I'm like, really? Would anybody like want to buy a completed glue book? I mean, you know, a piece of art. Like, I could put a nice picture on this, and then it's just this. Would somebody want to buy this art? I don't know. Nisa swears yes, that people would buy it. If I offered it, people would buy. And I'm of the opinion that no, they wouldn't. But she's probably right, because she I don't sell anything online at the moment. I guess I should say. I don't sell anything online at the moment. Therefore, that world's kind of foreign to me. You know, I always feel like, oh no, people wouldn't buy that. Nisa, who has been an online seller, oh my gosh, over 10 years now. It's been way over 10 years probably. Really big in Etsy. I think that's mainly where she sells. And has made a good living at it. Oh, shoot. Get down there. Just be gentle. Pat them down. Add a little glue. Pat it down. Give me your legs. Give me your legs, woman. You know, she like crochet stuff. Crochet is her craft of choice. She does beautiful crochet, and I've shared her store here before. It's Treasures by Nisa. I believe that's the name of her store on Etsy. But anyways, it's like the blankets and stuff that she sells. She's like, yeah, for this blanket, I'm going to have to charge this. And I'm just like, oh my God. And she's like, yeah, it's the only way I can get my costs back. And then she's not making anything on them, like on the big blankets and stuff. And she mainly does them because she loves the pattern, which I can understand, and wants to do the pattern. And she likes to she likes to modify patterns. That's her biggest thing. Not really coming up with a pattern, but taking a pattern. And then I don't think she's ever made a pattern like right out. I got a blister right there. It's bothering me. I was pulling up weeds yesterday. Oh, it hurts. So yeah, I mean, she's got that pricing down now. She can do it in her head and all that. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I know she'll help me with pricing and all that. So that may be something I might explore. Because, you know, I mean, it's not that I don't see value in it. I don't want to say that, because that's simply not true. Is this the same lady? Let's not use you. I need some more not dancers. I'm really getting heavy in the dancer here. Let me pull out my little ones. No, I don't want to use these little people. They're too little. And pull out my big basket. And there we have a ballerina right off. But she would be, I don't know, I could just cut off her hands and have her like this. I could just do her like that. I do kind of like her like that. So yeah, okay. All right, one more dancer. Sorry, I'm concentrating, and as you know, when you concentrate, you have to be completely silent. I know you can't see her foot. Hold on. I am not at a good angle right here. Move, Carl. This is Carl, by the way. Move, Carl. Here we go. That's better. Ta-da! Oh no, her head is off the page. Oh no. Oh well. It's only a little bit off the page. I'll just leave it sticking up for now. What? How'd you get in there? You're not even a people. You're not a people either. No one of you are a people. So I've been really getting into doing glue books this way, kind of like just doing all the backgrounds, doing all the stenciling, then doing all the people, then doing the words. It used to be that a lot of times I would pick out, the words and the people like at the same time. And sometimes I still do that, if I'm inspired. But this assembly line kind of thing is just what I like. And somebody asked me recently why I like to glue book, and I actually came up with a pretty good explanation of my art. And it is that I think, to me, glue booking isn't an intentional art, that it's an emerging art, in that you don't sit down most of the time to create something. You just create, and then something is created because of that process. I'll just use this one for example. I put this stuff down and now it's an art piece, but I did not envision this before it came to be, is what I'm saying. So I like to see, I got a cat hair in my mouth. I like to see what comes. So, you start off with something that looks like this, something that looks like this. And then, it emerges into something like this. Laughter is the sunbeam of the soul, this says. And she's got a beautiful laugh. Those don't go together, but they do now, because I looked at that girl and I thought, those words go with that. I like to see what comes. I call it a chaos art. I like to do the chaos of the art and then see something beautiful emerge. Does that make sense? That's what I like about it, that I can put all this randomness together, that I don't have to really sit down and concentrate, that, I'm just letting my mind free. I'm talking to you guys. I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm just chilling out, and then I'm just looking through this big collection of people I've cut out and just trying to pick out something that looks good on the page, that looks good. So it's not using a lot of brain power. It's mainly my subconscious that's active right now. I would love to have a scan of my brain and see what areas of my brain are lit up while I do this, because I really don't think it's my active consciousness, that I use every day, like to program and garden and paint, not paint, but cook and all that stuff. I really think I like this the way it is. I'm going to put a quote down here. I love this. I'm keeping it just the way it is. Probably the Sun Sphere too. I know she's already in the book, but I just love her. She's got such a good look about her. We're going to put her here. So yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons I find it so relaxing, is because I think I'm just not using those areas of my brain that I normally use, and it just kind of lets them relax, yet I'm still creative and whatever. So I can sit here and be creative. I usually listen to like documentaries and the sort on my computer, which is right in front of me, while I create. And I enjoy it. That's my relaxation. I find coloring and the sort, drawing, and all that so much harder. When I first looked at that, it did not look like chocolates. It looked like gears. And I thought, is that steampunk chocolate? I don't know what's wrong with me. I like her. I need to put her somewhere. Now see, she's got something between her legs. Oh, she's got this paper right here. But because this is light and it's pretty much going on it, look, it blends right in. So I'm not going to try to cut that out because there's just no sense. It's just going to make her legs floppy. Ma'am, I'm sorry I said you had something between your legs. Didn't mean it that way. Excuse me, ma'am. Let me see your head. Oh, thought I was going to take her head off there for a minute. I've done that before. I came up with a real good one because of it. I took somebody's head off. I think it's in this book. This is one of my very first glue books that I made, and I keep it right here by my side because it was one of the first ones that I made that I just really loved. So I keep her right here. I'm pretty sure she's in here. There she is. I had accidentally, when I glued it down, I ripped her head right there. And it was bad, and you could see it. So I just took my white gel pen and did that and acted like it was a crack. And then I just put little cracks everywhere. And then I found this today. I'm living and finding my new normal. And that speaks volumes to me. Volumes. Finding your new normal. Yeah, so happy accident, great meaning, special meaning in my life, all because I ripped her head. And that would have never came to be had I not ripped her head, because I had a totally different idea. I was going to put something about living simply, or finding beauty in simplicity, or finding beauty in nature was going to be on this side. And instead it took a totally different turn, probably one I would have never taken, and I ended up putting something down because I believe, I can't remember where I found that, but just when I found that, it just spoke to me so much. Because, like I said, finding your new normal in our lives, you'll find that things happen that you were not expecting, and it alters the course of your life, sometimes forever. And when that happens, it's very important to not dwell in the past of what you used to be able to do, and find your new normal. A very real example of that in my life is that after I had my son, I almost died. I had a blood clot that formed in my arm. There's my nice scar. See it? Isn't it beautiful? It formed right there, and they took it out, and everything seemed to be fine. And 3 days later, my arm reclotted up higher, so more in my shoulder. And I'm stopping and thinking, because this is also part of my testimony. And I'm wondering, should I just go ahead and give my testimony now, or save it for another day? But, sorry, I need coffee. I kind of like her, but I don't really want to lose her feet. So she may end up having to go in a big glue book. I like you, but not for this page. I like you too, but I'm going to have to cut you out. And I don't know about those hands. Ooh, I bet I could do it like, ooh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it like sticker style. Okay. So anyways, I was in the hospital. We'll just say it like this. They didn't have any answers, and they pretty much said they're going to take my left arm. They were going to amputate it at the shoulder where the blood clot was. Hello, Amber. And hoping to save my life. Because at that point, they didn't know what to do. A miracle happened. And I recovered. And obviously, I have my arm, as you can see. But however, I have extreme nerve damage in this finger especially. I also have some in this one. I already have problems with this finger anyways. You can kind of see it's misshapen, and it's also smaller than this one. This finger got smashed when I was a little girl by this mean little boy who lived in our neighborhood. And he smashed, he said, I'll never forget this. He's like, Tracy, put your hand right here. So I put my hand down, and he picked up a block of wood and smashed my hand. And it smashed all the bone and everything. So, and that was a miracle in itself, because the doctor said that he didn't think I'd ever have a fingernail. And then after I healed up, he said he wished he would have took pictures of it beforehand. But I mean, they just were trying to save my finger, and they couldn't even sedate me. So they had to sew up my finger and everything with me awake, and they had to like I remember them holding my head down on the table and me just screaming. There was like 3 or 4 nurses that were just like holding me down. I mean, I don't know if I'm in love with this, but it happened, and we're doing it. So anyways, back to my new normal. There was a lot of things that I couldn't do when I left the hospital. I still had the blood clot, and it had to dissolve, and therefore I had to be careful of how I had my arm. I had to keep my arm out a lot. And like even now, I used to play the piano. I loved to play the piano. I was actually, my piano teacher wanted me to go and do it professionally. He wanted me to go to college. He was really behind me on that. I actually had scholarships that were interested in me. But I did not want to do music for a living. I just didn't. I didn't want to go to university for that. So, anyways, I still love to play, and I played a lot. But after, I can't play anymore. I don't have enough control over this hand anymore to play. These 2 fingers, I barely have any, control over anymore. It's just really hard. It's just really hard. So I just can't play as much because there's a lot of nerve damage. Looks like I self-harm. No, this is from Willow. Willow got me right there. And that's probably from Amber. But anyways, I have a lot of nerve damage in my wrist. These fingers were black when I was in the hospital, and they thought I was definitely going to lose these. But I just have a lot of nerve damage in this hand, where it's taken me a long time to even be able to, like I was doing that. I used to not be able to move these 2 fingers independently at all. And as you can see, my ring finger still does it. want to move it. I have to see how now I can move it a little bit more. Whereas a minute ago I couldn't. It's nerve damage. It's just nerves. So, you know, I could have laid down and just said, oh no, you know, this missed so much. This was a big part of my life and I can't imagine my life without it. But instead I just found other things. Dance is really when I started to dance. So I took my life in a different direction. It's finding that new normal. The song Ordinary World by Duran Duran means so much to me. When Kenan was born, he was very tiny. He was 2 pounds and 14 ounces, very tiny. And he was in the hospital for about a month. And during that time, I was slowly trying to die. But after I decided to not die, Kenan was still in the hospital, and I went home, and that was hard. It's hard to go to the hospital and to have a baby and leave without that baby. One of the hardest things I ever had to do. Leave him there. And I would go and see him like several times a day. So I'm thankful that, you know, we were close enough that we could go and see him every day. But it was hard because I've got postpartum. I got no baby. I almost died. So I had, you know, all this stress. And it really just made, I was completely depressed. And it really made me feel like I was living in a separate world. Now, I can remember sitting in Burger King and telling, I almost said Jeremy, Ken, this, my first husband, and telling him, you know, it's like I feel so separate from the world. It's like I feel like nobody can understand what I'm going through. And I just feel so lost. And on the way home, Duran Duran's Ordinary World came on. And there's the line, as I try to make my way to the ordinary world, I must find my will to survive. I will learn to survive, I believe. And that song just means so much to me because that's exactly the way I felt. Because I was just like, there's an ordinary world somehow I have to find. And as I try to make my way to the ordinary world, I will learn to survive because I felt like I was living in an extraordinary world where my world was so different than everybody around me. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it felt. I didn't like it the way I felt so isolated from everybody and everything around me. That was probably the deepest bout of depression I ever dealt with. And it was hard. But yeah, I mean, it was very important to me to go and try to find my new normal in that. And slowly, you know, I made my way back to that ordinary world. And now I'm still here. I still have my arm. Kennan's still here. Just graduated. He's ready to find his own way in the world. Right now, he's just playing video games. Must be nice. Oh, when I was 18, I was living on my own. Granted, it was in the house I grew up in, and my grandfather moved out of the house and left me there. But hey, I was still on my own. I'm trying, I'll do it this. I'll say I'm trying to find some that are not dancers. I got so many dancers in this basket. And I also have several that are, I love him, that I need to use like this. She looks like she's in the palm of her hand. That looks pretty cool. So yeah, it's like you probably won't be in this book either. So these are ones that I've kind of pulled out and said no to this book, and then they end up just keep getting put back on top when I clean up. I think I deemed you too big, didn't I? I think I did, but I might, maybe we can put you on the back. Since you're not doing anything, there's nothing on the back anyway. There's some paper. I do like your hand though, so maybe we won't. I need to wrap this up soon because I have a meeting I need to get to, so. There we go. I got a lot of this dude. Ooh, I do like that. We'll do that. All right, guys, I'm going to end it right here because I have got to go and make sure I have all of my documents in order for my meeting. Thanks for hanging out with me on this Wednesday. I guess we'll continue in this book a little bit more. Some of these are, well, it looks like we're almost done. So a few more pages, then we'll go back and do some words and finish this thing up. All right. I will see you guys later. Bye.